Okay, Chapter 4, Consumer Decision Process. We're going to be talking about situations in Chapter 13. Okay, so the examples in the vignette include Campbell Soup having a misery index so they can know when to have ads and discounts on certain products associated with colds and flu index, misery index. Lands' End uses weather data information to plan for forecasts. So what's going on around you can affect how you spend your money, what incents you to buy. So we're going to talk about all these different situational influences, and so there's communications, purchase, use, and disposition, and they go through all these different things. Let's just start here with this purchase situation. Okay, the situation you're in can influence you. It depends on who's with you, how much time you have, all kinds of different things. And if you're in a hurry, you're not going to look so long. So brands are very important because you have a promise what a brand is. You know it'll work. You just go straight to the brand to save time. That's why brands are so very, very important. The usage situation. They make a good point here about, what kind of beverage would you pick on a Friday night after your last final exam, with your parents for lunch, stormy evening after dinner. A lot of different cues prompt you to buy certain kinds of products, and some things are not controlled by marketers, but they can be reacted to by marketers. So they try to identify all the different usage situations, and sometimes you can tell people new ways to use your product and they will adopt them. So that can be great if you can figure out a new, better way to solve a problem with your product. The disposition situation. This means getting rid of what you already had. So some people are very adamant about things being recycled. They won't buy certain kinds of products that can't be recycled. They're carrying them around with them to throw them away almost sometimes. So you have to have an idea. Some places you buy a refrigerator, they'll come pick up your old one. That's part of the service agreement. That makes it easier to dispose of things. So that's something to consider. Physical surroundings. Decor, sounds, aromas, lighting, weather, configurations of merchandise. You'll see if you go out and shop that things change constantly. I see a lot at the grocery store how they've redone the veggie and fruit parts. But in general, the way a store is laid out has a lot to do with sales, and they study the heck out of that. So your physical environment needs to be consistent with your target market. You want to have the right image and atmosphere and all that kind of stuff. In a store, they call it the atmosphere. In a service business, it's a servicescape. So you come along here and look at why people buy things. Well, some things you just have to have. It's utilitarian. If it doesn't take long, dry cleaner, bank. Some things take longer. Some things take a long time. You go to the other end, hedonic, things that make you feel good. Some things don't take long, some things take longer, and some things take a really long time. So colors affect us. Bright colors arouse us. For a dominant interior color, cooler colors are usually soothing. Banks, financial institutions often incorporate blue. It's associated with relaxation, water, sky, different kinds of things. That it's just a very, very popular color all around the world. Aromas. So you can fragrance the environment to stimulate things. You can add music. Music can change how people behave. There's a chart up here about in restaurants how the impact of the background music affects average ticket price and how long it takes to achieve that, and you come out ahead both on ticket price and on price per minute. So you want to do things to increase your yield on what you're already doing, if there's any way you can possibly do so. Crowding kind of turns some people off, doesn't bother other people, but when some people don't like crowds, they just kind of give up and don't check as much, don't work as hard at it because they just don't have the time to deal with it. Social surroundings. It depends on who else is around. If you're by yourself, you do one thing. If you're with your friends, you do another thing. If you're with your parents, you do another thing. So they make the point about some products are embarrassing. Well, adult depends or things like that. So I've seen these commercials where all kinds of people, all walks of life, are marching along in their Depends to show they're proud. They're not embarrassed. They're proud, the opposite of embarrassment. So I think that's a very good tactic to try to overcome this, just very, very directly. So the presence of others definitely affects. So if you show a crowd of people doing something, it makes you feel more comfortable from an advertising perspective. Temporal perspectives. This is time, how time influences our behavior. Some people have very low time, so they're kind of impatient. Providing products that provide these, so you don't have to wait a lot of time in a grocery store in line. You can just get what you need. So people who are in a hurry would go to 7-Eleven or similar type outlets. Or if you want to do something after hours, and the after hours, all hours rage has really stuck. Task definitions, the reason why you're doing something. If you're giving something for a gift versus buying it for yourself, you have some cultural rules you have to follow, as the gift signifies different things about them, about you. Some things are, well, we'll talk about rituals. Antecedent states. This is a feature of the individual person, something that isn't lasting, so you may have a mood, it's just kind of transient, it comes and goes. Products and services are something people use to manage their mood states. They might go get something comforting to eat or drink to make them feel better. They might take a walk. There are different kinds of things. Momentary conditions reflect temporary states of being. Great deal of marketing activity is trying to solve your immediate situation. That can also mean seasonal things. Don't happen that often, just happen occasionally. They want to fix you. I can personally attest this O'Keefe stuff is awesome for your hands and for your feet. I buy it at Ace Hardware. Rituals. So here we go on rituals. Rituals are socially defined occasions that trigger behaviors that have a structural format and a symbolic meaning. So it's kind of important. Every holiday has a ritual. All the things we want to remember have rituals, like graduation and marriages and all kinds of different things. So rituals have associations. Mother's Day card, that's just very associated, as are flowers and things like that. Now Halloween cards and almost all holiday cards are available. All kinds of decorations for holidays are available as well. So there's also the things about coming of age, becoming 12, 13, 15, 16, whatever it is. Ritual situations can also have injurious consumption. We associate going to college and going to games, or even being out of college and going to games, with a lot of drinking associated with the games. And some people obviously go overboard, and you don't want to promote it to the point where you're hurting anybody, but you want to promote it to the point that it's fun, which is 90% of the people can handle things, maybe 10% can't. People create the situations they face, you know, the hobbies they take up. They start playing golf, they need golf clubs. They start scuba diving, they need stuff like that. They start fishing, they need different kinds of things. So whatever they do creates the states that they're in and what they're going to do. So if somebody is out a lot, you know, they might use mints. If somebody's home all the time, they may never buy mints. They may only buy toothpaste. So they talk about, first thing you do is you figure out the different usage situations people enjoy. You think, why are they doing it? Then you try to organize it in a matrix, figure out which one is going to make you any money, and then for those ones that can make you any money, you figure out a marketing strategy. So over here, this is a nice chart that kind of illustrates this. So here are the potential users of suntan lotion, dump, 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 by age. This way is where you're going to be. So you can make a matrix and think, are any of these groups opportunities to make extra income? So here are the learning objective summaries. Be sure to read those, and this is the end of chapter 13.